Pinto. This is my workshop for August Wildfire, mini hoop for the complete beginner. I had a great class, so we actually had tons of stuff that we were able to go through. We started out just by starting our hoops. With the mini hoops, I like to start it with my palm up. I take it and I give it momentum by pulling it around and let it spin around my hand. This is coming in towards my body. Same thing with the other hand, in towards my body, I give it momentum. To come away from my body, I give it momentum the other direction. We also talked about fun ways of starting it, different sexy ways of starting it. Start with the other hand and pull back. All sorts of ways to be creative with your arm that's not being used if you're only using one hoop at a time. We started by working with just one hoop, switching both of our hands, making sure we're really comfortable with both sides of our bodies. Different exercises we used. We're starting it with our right hand, spinning forward, working on changing from the wheel plane to the wall plane. Bringing our second hand in. So our hands are together, moving away from our body, coming back, taking our first hand out. Once again, changing from the wall plane, then to the wheel plane on the other side of our body. Coming back in that same direction, still spinning the hoop in this direction, coming to this side, and then spinning our hoop the opposite way. Once again, coming from wheel plane to wall plane and to the other side. I won't do all of it. But working on those transitions, spinning your hoop both ways, and then once comfortable with that, we took it above our head, coming from wheel plane to a halo plane up above our heads, putting both our hands together, coming down to the other side, changing directions that way. We then talked about stopping the hoop. By using your hand, you can just catch it and change directions. Different ways we used that was to our side, having it, our hand at 6 o'clock on the hoop, letting it fall forward, coming twice, catching it on top, letting it fall back, come down, catching it on bottom. So we practiced this with both of our hands. Then we also practiced having it on the inside. When it was out here, my hand is in this position. So to bring it inside, I brought my hand to this position, bringing it up in front of my face and coming back. You can do as many spins as you want. We practice with just one. When we combined the two hoops, we started by having them in both hands, practicing, having them right on the sides, both going in the same direction, then changing our speeds, bringing the speeds back together, moving our hands, exploring the space that we have with the hula hoops, mini hoops, stopping up, going the other direction. And then we worked on the stops and the spins and changing levels, bringing it up, bringing it back, bringing one up, and then going in reverse. My other hoop is gone. And then we also had them in front of us, reverse directions, bringing the two hoops together. We then also worked on, with one hoop, we started with our simple 2-beat weave, also a figure 8. We talked about with our thumb, so our thumb goes in a figure 8 direction with one hand. So here is my simple weave with one hand, practicing it with both hands. And then a practice to understand working around the obstacle of the other arm, holding one hand out, doing a weave above it. Since I'm doing my weave with my right hand on top, I'm going to practice my left is on the bottom, and then combining the two into a simple 2-beat. We also then addressed the concept of Z-spins applied to weaves, concept from Steve Beggs. We were calling this the Z-beat weave, creating a 3-beat weave without a grip change. By doing that, we're always leading with our thumb, letting our thumb come down, coming out, flipping, thumb down, and thumb. So thumb is always leading. So you've got down, flip, down, and out. So the two together, also practicing with the other hand, thumb down and over, flip, thumb down and under, and out. And then you have your 3-beat weave without a grip change, which we discussed is good for performances or fire, when you don't want to accidentally let go of your mini and have it fly into a crowd. We also addressed then using the mini hoops for slower isolations, whether they're isolations in front of your body, moving them in different directions, not spinning them, but using them in smaller, just creative, dynamic movements so that you can reflect the dynamics or atmosphere of whatever music that you are using. And then the last isolation we looked at specifically, your pat your head, rub your belly move, is taking one hand on top, one hand on bottom. The hand on top will isolate halfway around, while the hand on bottom will do a small point flip. Doing these together exercises both sides of the brain and really makes you work on doing completely different things with both sides of your body. You can do that closer together as well, finding different creative ways of layering your hoops.
Okay. Yeah, that's
And then the last thing we worked on was tosses. And initially, just your simple toss, you can just play with it yourself, catching it yourself, and to practice tossing, which can then eventually lead to juggling or other things, have volunteer. Can you still see both? All right. So practicing with a partner, starting close together. If I have my hoop coming forward, when I toss it, it will arc up, and you'll catch it in your left hand. And so the partner can work on catching it. If I'm going backwards, it's going to shoot straight towards her. And hopefully she's ready. Oh, gee. Okay, that one went lower. So it's a fun game to play with a partner. So I'll toss it to you. You want to try to keep it spinning. Yeah. And so then you can toss it back to me. And working with partners, you can eventually be switching them back and forth. It's a great way to exercise control and have fun with somebody else. And that is my collection of mini hoop exercises we worked on in this wildfire.